How is the internet going to change over the next year and the next 10 years? Well, Ross Dawson's a leading technology futurist, entrepreneur and author. Earlier this year he made some pretty bold predictions about how the web would evolve. He joins us in the studio to tell us a little bit more. Ross, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. That issue of privacy is an interesting one, and it's kind of coming up at the moment. It feels like on a weekly basis given the Sony breaches. One of the specific trends you mentioned for 2011 was about the cloud. Are we kind of looking at a new way to view privacy in the cloud when you see these kind of breaches, and maybe whether the cloud's appropriate for everyone?
Well, these are certainly some of the questions that people are asking themselves. When you're getting 77 million customer record informations out with people who may not be that reputable, you wonder what's going on. And I think part of it is this issue of the cloud, where we've actually had some other breaches in the cloud recently. And these, I think, are some of the blips along the way. I think that the reference point for comparing the world of the cloud, where all of the information, the data processing happens outside organizations, is not perfection, but what would be the being able to do that inside an organization. And so, in fact, there are many of the security breaches which have happened over the last couple of years have not been cloud-based situations, but ones where the actual organizations have had it in-house, apparently barricaded down, but still that information has got out. So the cloud, and being able to do that better and more effectively and have greater measures around that, is a critical aspect of that. But I think we will continue to have things go wrong along the way as we try to work out better ways to keep that information secure.
Does a futurist like you ever have thoughts about when we run out of space in the cloud? That's a stupid consumer-based comment, but you know, when you look at the millions of videos on YouTube and all the data that businesses have kind of got in the cloud, does it ever run out of room?
Well, if you think about technology and the future of technology, the pace of change is exponential, which means that, for example, the amount of data increases by around 60% per year. The amount of processing power increases by around that much. And fortunately, the amount of data storage and the amount of bandwidth increases at around that pace or a little bit more. So all of these things are growing at extraordinary growth rates, including data itself, but the bandwidth and the storage and the cost of storage, most importantly, mean that, no, we're not running out of space, it's just, but it's exploding out of sight. Absolutely.
One of the predictions you made for the web was this idea of reputation, that our reputations will be more visible. What do you mean by that?
We have an immense amount of information, as you said, immense of data about ourselves and our behaviors and what we think and what we do and how we behave. And out of that, we're able to get greater insights into individuals and basically how reputable they are, how credible they are in a particular situation, how trustworthy they are. So this is beginning today where we have measures of influence, how influential people are. So whether somebody says something as to whether people listen and change their behaviors as a result. So now actually have some very good measures of that. That's not quite the same as reputation, but we're starting to see better measures where we're getting others' opinions of us start to be brought together to bring a reputation score, and that means, you know, that's changing society. It changes, I suppose, the nature of openness. It changes, I suppose, the imperative for us to behave in a trustworthy manner. So on a personal level, but is it similar or different when you talk of business reputation? It's there's many similarities, but one of the key differences is if a business has a brand, and that brand is absolutely, and it already has, I suppose, a quite public reputation. Increasingly, the brand of large organizations and small organizations will again have reputation measures. We have, for example, Yelp in the United States, which has many, many consumer reviews about small companies. In Australia, we're beginning to get a few players in the space, which is Womo, word of mouth on the web, and Customer Underground, and a variety of other services. And these are starting to build pictures of the reputation of an organization, making it easier for consumers to make decisions. One very final and brief, hopefully, prediction to talk with you about. You claim newspapers are going to be gone by 2022. That is a very bold prediction. Well, not quite gone, but basically irrelevant. And that's because if you look at the changing dynamics of the cost of producing newspapers relative to the revenue and the alternative sources, where the iPad of day is the predecessor of digital, paper, flexible devices that we can roll up and look like and feel like newspapers, but be far more effective. And that is the way of the future, and that's what we will shift to.
Ross Dawson, we could chat for any length of time with you. So interesting. Thank you. We're going to leave it there for now. Thanks. Ross Dawson.